apologize to the lady?
It's not like he needs the money, goddamn tight ass.
He's just protecting his position.
Well, I'm on parole. I don't have that.
You know what? I'm not interested in what you got.
The story begins with John Brickner, a huge man with the body of a fighter and the face of a ghost, getting discharged from prison. He's done his time for second-degree murder and is being released, although on parole, to live the rest of his life as a free man. The prison gates close behind him, but freedom doesn't feel like freedom, because it feels like punishment.
Or you can poison a man dead and never look him in his eyes.
Why don't you try?
Become a productive member of society.
Good luck to you.
John drifts into the city, trying to piece together a life by becoming a productive member of society. But his priority is finding a job. Given that he now has a criminal record, not many agencies would trust him enough to work with them, so he heads to a construction site where he'd be able to put his muscles to productive work. He does small construction jobs, hauling bricks and hammering beams. His size makes him useful, his silence makes him forgettable, but inside, he's restless and haunted.
Take that load up to 18. In convict?
After the day's work, he heads to a bar for a drink, where he notices the bar girl being harassed by a bunch of drunk customers. Seeing how powerless she was, he butts in and grabs the leader by the throat, squeezes an apology out of him before sending him flying out the door. The rest of the crew scatter like Scooby-Doo villains.
Just bring that sweet heater right
Hey,
here.
don't you let me touch me!
The bartender gets impressed and offers him a job on the spot.
You want a job?
John now works 2 jobs, as a construction worker during the day and a bar worker at night. His presence at the bar is like installing antivirus software, because the chaos is now gone. Gangs and thugs still show up, but John tosses them out faster than Will Smith at the Oscars. It sometimes requires John to beat both parties to a pulp and kick them out to stop them from fighting in the bar.
So I hit you where the good Lord split you.
He catches the attention of Reno, a smooth-talking hustler with a gambler's grin, who invites him to come work for him with his first, handing him a business card. John simply smiles and hands back the card. He's just got out of prison on parole. He's not ready to get back in there.
What you did there, these. It's great. It's fantastic. You and I can make some money. We can make some real money.
One day, on his way home from his morning shift, he runs into no one but Veronica Reynolds, the widow of the man he killed. Her words are cold, but honest, slicing deeper than any blade. She has not forgiven him. She reveals that she was the reason behind his quick discharge from prison, and tells him about her daughter, Sarah, who is sick, frail, and in desperate need of a heart operation. Unfortunately, time doesn't seem to be on her side anymore. She tells him that since he has been writing different letters to her from prison about how he wants to make it up to her for what he did, this is the one request she has. He is to raise a sum of $250,000 in a couple of months to save the lad's life. That's the main reason she got him out of prison in the first place.
It costs $250,000, and that is money I don't have. You are going to save my baby's life.
Getting back home, John counts up all the money he has saved, and he realizes he barely even has a fraction of the required amount. $250,000 is a lot of money. Even so, he's not giving up. He may not be able to bring back the man he killed, but maybe he can save the daughter he left broken. But to earn money for something like that, he knows very well that construction wages won't cut it. Time is short. The world doesn't care about good intentions. That's when he remembers Reno, the shady man who approached him the other day. He remembers Frankie, the bar girl, being kind of acquainted with him, so he meets up with her and asks her to take him to Reno. Reno had seen the way John carries himself. Heavy, deliberate, dangerous, but the main thing that rings through his head whenever he sees him is fists, money. A fighter who can change his life for the better. Reno gets excited to see John.
Were you serious about that job? So what is it?
He takes them to an underground fight venue where powerful fighters go at each other. Not boxing, not sport. Bare knuckle, dirty, savage matches. The kind of fighting where there are no rules, and the other opponent has to get knocked out, unless he runs away with his tail between his legs. Either way, it's a gambling brawl that could lead to a massive payout for the winning team. Reno sweetens the deal. Just one fight could earn John more than a month of honest work. As tempting as the offer sounds, John resists. He doesn't want to go back to violence.
And all I gotta do is whip that guy down there.
He visits Veronica at home to tell her there's nothing he can do to help, but she doesn't take it from him.
If there's anything I can do, you just name it. I want to help.
He's my friend.
The following day, he gets fired from his construction job for absolutely no reason by his shitty boss, who immediately gets a heart attack afterwards. John does his best to save the man's life through CPR, while they wait for an ambulance to arrive, and thanks to him, the man lives. Still pretty much jobless, he knows he's in a tight spot, because no other job would be willing to take in an ex-convict, and the money from the bar can barely even cover his expenses, not to mention the dying girls. Out of options, he goes to the underground fighting venue, where he watches two amateur fighters go toe-to-toe with each other. One of them eventually wins, but then passes out shortly after. He is shocked to find out that the man is Reno's fighter, and the tournament isn't over yet. So with him being passed out, Reno would automatically be disqualified and would acquire a massive amount of debt, coupled with the ones he already has. John steps up for him and agrees to fight the next opponent, and Reno and Frankie's faces glow up with excitement, seeing him. They give him the information he needs about the next fighter to get him prepared as he steps into the ring. It is his first underground fight, and it already feels like stepping into hell. Dim lights and a cage, with a horde of people around it, rooting for his opponent. He sees a bunch of men place bets on his opponent, and imagines how everyone would react when he knocks the overconfident guy down. His opponent is a bit smaller, but vicious, with teeth like a shark. He bites. The bell goes off for the fight, and his opponent charges at him, throwing fast punches with the intent to kill. Given his fighting experience, he has the upper hand, but this is his first time fighting in a brawl like this. His opponent digs his sharp teeth into John's arm like a pit bull, throwing him off his game and causing him so much pain. He takes brutal hits, stumbling, tasting his blood. The crowd jeers, calling him washed up. Frankie groans. Maybe she was wrong about him after all, but she had already placed a bet, so all she can do is hope while she and Reno root for him. But then something inside John wakes up. That old instinct, that survival edge. He blocks, counters, and lands a devastating right hook. His opponent crashes to the floor, unconscious. The crowd erupts as he aura farms out of the ring victorious. Now that Frankie and Reno have gotten a strong fighter, they're on the track now, but still have a long way to go, because apparently, just being a fighter is not enough. There's still a need for a huge sum of money to bring huge returns. So they try to pitch him to different people, but no one seems to be interested in investing in John. This leads to Reno selling a precious family heirloom of his so they can afford to put John in the next fight.
People are motivated by rage and anger.
Because you're not going to sell them on me, right?
You're getting a good price here, young man.
At the venue, Reno gets into trouble with a bunch of Mexicans because he owes money, so John steps up and agrees to fight on behalf of his honor. They select a fighter and get them in a ring, surrounded by dogs. This time around, his opponent is a bit bigger. The fight begins, and he takes a lot of heavy hits from the huge Mexican, but given his experience and jail time, he manages to retaliate, forcing his opponent to surrender. They make quite a bit of money and can pay off some of their debts, but still need a lot more money. Later that day, John gets a call from Veronica, who tells him her daughter, Sarah, had been rushed to the hospital due to her heart problems earlier that day. His heart sinks, and he realizes he's got to work quicker now. Days blur into nights, fights blur into bruises. John becomes a name in the ring, taking down every opponent that stands against him. His massive frame, his silent demeanor, and his ability to take punishment and keep moving forward all make him a crowd favorite. A fighter who has never lasted a fight, Reno spins money off him while Frankie handles the deals and tends to his bruises with skilled medical precision. And John keeps going, not for the thrill of it, but to be able to afford little Sarah's treatment. He sees her face every time he gets knocked down. Every match he gets into is one step closer to her surgery. This becomes a bit of a problem, because every man who stands before him in a ring already knows what's befalling him, and managers don't want to keep losing money. So for this cause, no one wants to fight him. The only people who are still adamant about taking him down are the Mexicans he crossed paths with the other day.
I'm gonna need more time than that. I said he doesn't have any money. Why don't you just let me kill him?
They schedule a fight and meet up. Another powerful-looking fighter, a bit smaller than the previous. It's a different ring this time, made of old abandoned sports cars and a bunch of scrap materials that can be used, however, to take down the opponent. The fight begins, and this fighter, although smaller, is way quicker than the previous. He knocks John down a couple of times, but John keeps getting back up. The pain the fighter is causing him is nothing compared to the one he feels within. In a twist of events, he overpowers the fighter and knocks him out with a couple of consecutive punches.
Damn, what do you think? What do you think, man? Let's go!
You've had all your shots.
After the brutal fight, the trio sits together over dinner, bruised but alive, trying to piece together their next move. So far, their reckless venture has earned them $150,000, but it feels like both a fortune and a drop in the ocean compared to what still lies ahead. As they talk strategy, John's phone buzzes. It's the hospital. The voice on the other end tells him they've been unable to reach Veronica. Something in John's gut twists, and without even finishing his meal, he bolts out of the restaurant. When he arrives at her apartment, the silence inside hits him like a wall. On the counter, he spots an envelope already torn open. His hands tremble as he pulls out the letter. It's an official notice that cuts deeper than any punch he's ever taken. It states that Veronica's request for funding to secure Sarah's heart transplant has been denied. They simply don't have enough money. His chest goes hollow, dread spilling through him. He moves toward the bathroom, and the world seems to collapse in slow motion. There, sprawled on the cold tiles, is Veronica. Her wrists are slit, her eyes glazed over, the life almost drained from her. For a frozen second, John can't move. Then, instincts from another life take over, and he rushes her to the hospital. Veronica survives, but only barely. When she finally stirs awake, weak and pale, John is by her side. His voice cracks as he asks her why she would do such a thing. She answered firmly that she had hoped that by ending her life, doctors might be able to give her heart to Sarah. John's face hardens with grief. He says he will never let her die like this, and that she needs to trust him, because he will find another way.
My heart is a match. They could have given her my heart.
No.
Don't you get it?
You don't get to just give up. Can you just trust me? I can do this.
Outside the room, John notices an old scar etched pale across her wrist. She catches him noticing, and finally exhales a truth she rarely shares. Years ago, when the wealthy predator Veltz kept her caged, she too had nearly made the same choice as Veronica. Reno had saved her from that edge, paying a price he still hasn't fully escaped. The confession lands heavily in John's chest, leaving him shaking his head in silent sorrow. Back at the apartment later, Reno cautiously tries to bring up John's next fight. John's mood is dark, his spirit heavy, but seeing how much getting money is a big priority for them, he nods, telling Reno to set it up immediately. They get there the following day, and his opponent is the last of the Mexican brothers he has been going up against. Reno goes all out, and bets all the money they've made, putting his rage into his fists. It's not much of a hassle to knock down the fighter, but something seems off. The opponent keeps getting up, no matter how many times he knocks him down. That's when he realizes that this match is to the death.
Oh, yeah? Says who?
John tells the fighter's manager to tell him to stop getting back up because things could get ugly, but he refuses. Frustrated, John stops and leaves the match. He won't cross that line, not anymore. Reno tries to stop him, but gets interrupted by Veltz's men, who demand payment immediately, and since John had forfeited the match, they lost the whole $150,000. They beat him up while warning that Frankie is collateral unless the debt is cleared. The following morning, a black sedan ghosts the curb, and the people inside politely ask John to escort them. He gets in, and they take him to a rich old man named Veltz. He happens to be the father-in-law of the man whose life he saved. Even after recklessly firing him, he is also Reno's creditor. The old man seems to be well informed about him as well. He tells him he's in his debt for saving his son-in-law's life, and asks him to choose between getting Sarah's surgery done or clearing Reno's debt.
It owes me a considerable amount of money. The way this country treats the poor and destitute is shameful.
John thinks about Frankie's scars and Reno's swollen eye, and tells the old man to clear Reno's debt. The rich man studies him like a curious artifact, asks him if he's sure, and when John confirms, he agrees.
You make the side bet, you can make your money back and then some. Anyway, I've been fighting in this underground circuit to try to make enough money.
Veronica gets discharged from the hospital, and John takes her home. She tells him she knows he didn't intend to kill her husband, and that it was just self-defense. She also thanks him for saving her life, and for what he's doing to be able to afford her daughter's treatment as he leaves. Reno and Frankie are beyond grateful to John for clearing their debt. He packs his things and is about to leave their apartment when a call comes in from Deacon, a weathered old friend who talks like a preacher and bets like a sinner. John had gone to him earlier to ask if he could help them with funding, but he had turned him down then. He lays out the last hill that there's a final match. A real one, with a champion who doesn't break. He has agreed to cover the stake, but all he asks is that John fight clean and finish what he started. The room lights up with excitement. The day of the match arrives. The champion's name is Wendell Timmons, an African-American man, built like a beast you'd remember. John isn't intimidated one bit. He has just been given a final chance to prove his worth, and he's not going to let anything ruin that. They get into a suspended cage where it is clearly stated that there are no rules. The fight begins, and Wendell comes at him strong, swinging heavy rights and landing almost all of them. It's only a matter of seconds before John starts to bleed. Keeping the momentum, he fakes low, comes over the top, and staggers John with so much impact that the cage tilts. Lying on the cage floor, John sees a slideshow of a prison yard, parole papers, Veronica's bathroom tile, Frankie's shaking lighter, Reno's busted swagger, Deacon's steady eyes, and Veltz's immaculate desk, all in his head. 1,000 choices, one thread. He rolls, stands, and shifts the momentum, dragging Wendell into the trenches with an elbow to the ribs, followed by a heavy left to the right cheekbone. Wendell steps back a half step too slow. When John attempts another punch, Wendell manages to get a hold of his left arm and hit it at vital points, throwing John off his game. He then delivers a Roman Reigns-type super punch, which destroys the entire cage. They both fall to the ground. Wendell uses an underhanded method to try to kill John, but he manages to scale through by diving into a pool of blood nearby. When he comes out, they then go for a final touchdown, with John delivering his favorite knockout punch. Coming out victorious. After the fight, while Reno counts their profit, Frankie attends to John's injuries like a professional, making him wonder why she didn't go to medical school. A few days later, John pays for Sarah's heart transplant, and Victoria genuinely thanks him for giving her a reason to live. The end. Thank you for sticking to the end of my video. Please do me the biggest favor by leaving a like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope to see you in the next video.